crisis. So Kim, before we get started, if you could just give our viewers a 1 minute's view of who you are and what you do.
So I'm Kim Tosadori. I'm from Petroleum Technical Services. We install underground and above ground fuel tanks for service stations, private industry, the government, anybody that uses fueling for their fleets. We do all the work for the installation and then for the servicing of those stations as well. We also do some card reading systems for tracking. We do retail stations for their point of sales, and we actually physically put the tanks in the ground as well. So we have a split of the company where there's people that do service, and then there's just people that do installation for the company as well. So we were classified as essential, so we have worked through the whole COVID crisis. So,
wow, how many team members do you have?
Currently, we have 11 team members.
Is everybody still working? Did anybody say, I can't work during these times?
So when it all went down, we posted everything, and they're aware of their abilities to take the time off. Nobody has requested it. Some of our employees' spouses are in the medical field and said, you know, if something were to happen where they were quarantined, that they would need the time off as well. But we've had nobody that's requested to be furloughed or put on unemployment or anything like that.
So during the crisis, okay, so you're an essential business, so it never really stopped. What has happened to business during this crisis?
Pretty much stopped dead for us, at least in the installation area. We did have some work that we were doing when the COVID happened. We were unsure when it all went down with the government saying that they were going to close. We weren't sure that we were going to be an essential business or not. So we made plans to close the company down and how we were going to do that, at least in the temporary. So we told our staff that it was just going to be a day-by-day thing and that we would figure it out as things came from the government, because nobody was really sure. I don't even know that the government was sure what they were going to do. So we had to plan it day by day, what we were going to do. Our service continued to work because their gas stations are essential. We went right to the DEP and said, what do you want us to do? What is your definition? And then like 3 days later, they came out and said, you're essential. Here are the things that you are and aren't allowed to do. So we have that. Our Petroleum Equipment Institute provided us a letter for essential employees that we could cut and paste into our information so that our employees could have a letter to carry that showed that they were essential to making the world run. So,
are there any additional services or products that you've offered or thought about offering during this time, or is it pretty much sticking to your core business?
No, well, we offered the shields. You know, you see all the shields that are going up now. So we are selling those shields. A lot of people can install them themselves. You don't need to be DEP certified to put a shield in. So we are direct selling them to people. So we sold them to a few of our larger customers in bulk, and they're using them to protect their employees and customers as well. So that is something that we have added on.
So what has planning looked like for when this thing breaks? Have you sat down and brainstormed with your team, with your other execs, about how you're going to move out of this?
We have discussed it, and honestly, we've been quoting this whole time. We've been quoting work the whole time that we've been in this kind of crisis. So everybody says when everything kind of calms down, we'll be ready to go forward with the work. So we have talked about, like, what's that going to look like? How many employees are we going to have to hire after everything kind of releases? We do have some concern that it may not release as quick as we need it to release. So we have talked about some different things that we can do. So we're doing some planning, but we don't know how things are going to be released and those kind of things. So we do have some concern about what it's going to look like after, and we've been discussing it, but there's not a set plan yet. So
what has happened, if anything, with your marketing during this time? Have you increased it? Have you decreased it? Is it keep the ship steady?
So we've pretty much done ship steady. We continue with everything that we related to marketing. We're still doing Facebook, LinkedIn. We're still doing our mail outs and all the usual stuff. So we've not cut any marketing, which I feel like is a bad idea. You want to keep yourself relevant and aware of what's with your customers, so they know what's going on. We're still making calls. We're just not doing face-to-face stuff, but we're calling all of our customers. We're following up on quotes. We're following up on some of the market material that we send out. Usually we do it face-to-face. I feel like that's a better response, but we're doing it via telephone now.
Okay. And just to take you back into when this first happened, as a business owner, as the leader of the company, when you heard all of this was happening, where was the first place your mind went to? Was it to your people? Was it cash flow? Was it marketing? Like, do you remember where your head went and how you managed through that?
So for me, it's to the people. It went right to the people. Like, how are we going to keep everybody employed? Like, how long can I go without a paycheck so that I can make sure everybody else does? Like, I went instantly to, like, it was a mix of people and cash flow, but like, where can we get money from? How far can we extend our line to make sure that everybody's okay? How long can the company exist? Like, it went to those things, like, okay, how much does the company have to make us stay afloat? How much do I have personally that I could put into the company to make sure that we're okay, so that everybody can stay employed? Because we didn't know all that was going to happen, like with unemployment and those kind of things. And honestly, our goal was to keep everybody employed at this going forward, and actually hire some people after everything kind of smooths out. I'm not adding to our headcount right now, not at all. No.
Will you take advantage of some of the government programs and some of the help that they're giving businesses?
So we already did. We got the PPP.
Okay.
We got 2.5 times our monthly salaries and rent and things like that. So that'll actually, we could last as a company for about a year without any income. Not that it would be really pleasant, but we could last that amount of time with the PPP money now. So that we've taken advantage of that. We're looking into the Main Street loan as well, but that's not for the company to exist. That's actually to take it to the next level. So we're trying to take advantage of the market being what it is right now, and hopefully we can borrow that money to do some strategic things with the company.
Okay,
so we're trying to think strategic.
Okay, so we have two types of people I found on these calls. We have the people that are going to be okay, the businesses that are going to be okay through here, and they're planning it, and they may even be strategic and think ahead and be able to do some big things. I'm going to put you in that category. We have a large group of people that are wondering if they're going to make it through this, and if they do, once the doors open, what are they going to do? So I know, because I've known you for a while, and I know you've been in through some ups and downs. So what advice can you give? What advice can you give the people that are kind of fearful right now, uncertain? What's some advice good business advice you would give them?
So, I mean, I would think that a lot of entrepreneurs already know what fear is. And I mean, they took that step, which was already fear in itself. So, I mean, just kind of going back to when they first started the business, or they first took over the business, like what that fear was, and thinking about, okay, I made it through that. Why can't I make it through this? And like moving into that strategic world instead to the fear world would really help a person to understand that, okay, if I'm not going to make it like this, how can I make it through? What are the things I can do to be able to come out of this on the other side? Okay. Like if it's not doing what I'm doing, what else is there? What are the strategies that I can get to make maybe not how the company is as it is, but maybe something else, maybe something new, or maybe it's you turn right instead of left, or instead of going forward. It's a way to change things.
Okay. And for
So,
those people that are actually coming out of this okay, or there are, as
mhm,
we know, there are some businesses that have done very well through here because of the nature of their
mhm,
business, and they're
sure.
now positioned to maybe do something different. Any advice you have for them? Do something bigger.
Um, I mean, that's my plan, is to do something bigger. And my advice to them is, don't let that fear of it take over. You know, you're going to be, maybe people are living in fear that their business is going to close, and they're living in fear that, well, if I make this step, what's going to happen? And, you know, it could be good or bad, and they just need to be logical and not think with the emotional side of them, and think logically, what are the steps to get where I need to go, so that when I come out of this, everything's positive about it. I mean, there's going to be bumps no matter what when you're doing strategic things. So,
Any closing words of wisdom?
mm, I don't think so. I mean, it's just mainly logic, like just thinking through things logically. And I don't know if it's words of wisdom, but it don't have the fear, because in the end, you know, everything that you're working for is just stuff. I've come to that realization, and maybe you don't want to put this in the clip, but that's fine. Like, I've come to the realization that there's some fear, and I'm not going to deny that, but what am I going to lose? I'm going to lose my stuff. I'm going to lose things if I take that risk and it doesn't come through. But we're all entrepreneurs. Like, what are you going to do? You just pick yourself back up and start all over again, right? What do you have? You have all that experience, all that knowledge that you can take somewhere else and just rebuild what you had. So it makes me less fearful of what's to come, and even more excited to step into those scary things, if that sounds crazy or not.
Not crazy. Wise words from a wise woman. Thank you very much. And again, we have Kim Tosadori from Petroleum Technical Services. Please don't hesitate to reach out to Kim.